Good evening. The regular meeting of the Milton Board of Zoning Appeals for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 has been called to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item we'll do is introduction of board members, beginning to my far left.
Zach Stafford, Billy Carmen,
Hodge Patel,
Lauren Holmes,
and Adam Danella, Zach Middlebrooks, and Nick Horton are absent this evening. Next item on this evening's agenda is to elect a chair for the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'll seek a motion to nominate a chair for the 2025 calendar year.
I'd like to nominate Hodge Patel for the chair of the Board of Zoning Appeals.
I second.
We've got a motion by Billy and a second by Lauren to nominate Hodge Patel as chair for the 2025 Board of Zoning Appeals calendar year. Is there any discussion on that?
Nope.
Seeing that there's no discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Item B on our agenda this evening is to elect a vice chair for the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'll make a motion to nominate Adam Danella as the vice chair for the 2025 calendar year. I did speak with him this afternoon. I know he's not here, but he said he would like to serve in the vice chair role again for another year.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Hodge and a second by Billy to nominate Adam Danella to the vice chair position for the 2025 calendar year. Is there any discussion? Seeing that there's no discussion, I'll call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Item 4 on the agenda this evening, I'll make a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda as published by the City of Milton.
Second.
Got a motion by Hodge and a second by Zach to approve tonight's agenda as published by the City of Milton.
Mr. Patel.
Sorry.
I believe I recall a mention of a potential revision to the minutes. Was that taken care of?
I was going to address that when we approve the past meeting minutes.
I'm sorry, we were on the agenda. I skipped ahead.
Okay.
My apologies.
No worries. Thanks for keeping me in check. So we had a motion by Hodge and a second by Zach to approve the agenda as published this evening. I'll call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Item 5 on this evening's agenda is approval of past meeting minutes. I will make a motion to approve the December 17th, 2024 meeting minutes with one change. It is on item 5 of the December 17th, 2024 meeting minutes. In terms of approval of the past meeting minutes, the vote states that it was 3-3 approved. It was actually 3 voted in favor, 0 opposed it, and 3 abstained.
For the record, and I was not aware of this change beforehand. Oh, I see. We do have the abstentions mentioned. That's all I wanted to make sure was listed. Thank you.
Sure. Can I get a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, Billy. So we've got a motion by Hodge and a second by Billy to approve an amended version of the December 17th, 2024 meeting minutes with a change to item 5, which was the approval of the past meeting minutes, where the vote was 3 in favor, 0 opposed, and 3 abstentions. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Item 6 on this evening's agenda is consideration of primary variances. The Board of Zoning Appeals is a quasi-judicial board comprised of resident volunteers of the City of Milton. The board is charged with hearing requests for variances from the standards of the Unified Development Code, or UDC, and appeals of administrative determination. With regard to decisions on primary variances, the board's basis for decision is provided by these four considerations. A, relief if granted would not offend the spirit or intent of the UDC. And B, there are such extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property that the literal or strict application of this UDC would create an unnecessary hardship due to size, shape, or topography, or other extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions not caused by the variance applicant. And C, relief if granted would not cause a substantial detriment to the public good and surrounding properties. And D, that public safety, health, and welfare are secured and the substantial justice is done. First primary variance this evening is V 25-01-1055 Birmingham Highway, and it consists of 3 parcels.
Good evening, board
Michael.
members. Welcome back. Happy 2025.
Welcome.
The applicant is Marlon Lang, and the address is 15055 Birmingham Highway, parcel ID 223920055908851, and parcel ID 223920055908869. 3 total properties. Here is the aerial map showing the 3 properties in question, all within this red line. This is Birmingham Highway going north and Glenover Drive to the east. And this is the White Calm subdivision. The applicant is seeking the following variances. Section 8862 UDC to reduce the existing barn house and animals distance requirement from 100 to 16.8 feet adjacent to the west property line. 8862 UDC to reduce the existing barn house and animals distance requirement from 150 feet to 100.9 feet from an occupied structure located on another property adjacent to west property line. Section 8862 UDC to reduce the existing barn house and animals distance requirement from 100 feet to 95.58 feet adjacent to the west property line. Section 8862 UDC to reduce the existing barn house and animals distance requirement from 150 feet to 148.13 feet for an occupied structure located on another property to the west property line. Here is a zoning map showing the AG1 zoning in tan and the CUP zoning, which is white columns in green. And I want to point out the properties to the east that are also AG1 are also in the white column subdivision. And I'll expand on this later, but the applicant learned during the plating process that the properties he bought in 2021, if you look at the screen, numbers 2 and 3 are actually also in the white column subdivision. And the property number 1, where his existing residences, is not inside the white column subdivision. So essentially, the applicant is going through the plating process to have 3 lots become 3 lots. And if you look at this graphic, the red line is the property line to be abandoned, and this black line is the new lot line. And if you go back to the aerial, just imagine the lot line between 2 and 3 just disappears, and it's one big lot. And then this triangle piece will have a new property line and have its own lot of record here. So 3 lots become 3 lots. And during that process, we discovered that the barn, house, and animals did not meet the current Unified Development Code. Here's the first barn, house, and animals right here in pink, showing the distance to the property line here and to an occupied structure across the property line. And the second barn, house, and animals right here to the property line and into the house again across the property line. The applicant submitted a minor plat application on December 19th, 2024, and is currently going through the minor plat process to reorganize lot lines where 2 of the 3 parcels will have new parcel sizes. The minor plat process revealed 2 non-compliant barns as shown in Exhibit A. The 8.84 acre minor plat has a depth of 815 feet and width of 483 feet as shown in the variant site plan. Existing lot sizes is 2.47, 4.43, and 1.84. Proposed minor plat sizes are 2.47. Again, the house is not changing at all size-wise. So here's the 2.47 parcel. This is not changing at all. This is staying the same. It's just these 2 parcels that are being reorganized lot line-wise to create the new lot here on Birmingham Highway. And then this line is being dissolved and it'll be combined for one large tract. The applicant purchased the parcels in 2021. The two barn house and animal structures predate Milton cityhood. Applicant is proposing to remove 650 square feet of the southern barn structure. If you see the red lines right here, the property line goes through the middle of a barn addition. And the applicant is proposing to remove the addition rather than the Board of Zoning Appeals cannot grant a variance over a property line. He's choosing just to remove the addition, which he told me was not part of the original barn structure. And you'll see more when you see the photos. Here's the adjacent neighbor support map showing 8 support letters: 15000, 15040, 15065, 15080, 15101, 15125, 15140 Birmingham Highway. And we have a white column support letter from 605 Glenover Drive to the south. Here are the variance support letters. Site photos. This is a view to the south, Glenover Drive, which is the white column subdivision. View to the north of the property. View to the west, facing Birmingham Highway. View to the east, facing white columns. Here are the 2 barn house animals that are seeking variances right here. 1 and 2. And the covered riding arena in the rear meets code and doesn't require any variances.
Michael, can you go back? Can you point out where the residential structure is at? Is it in the bottom left?
It's actually to the west from here.
Okay.
Yeah. So here are the barn structures right here. This is the shot from here. And the house is over here directly to the west. All right, here's barn number 1. No proposed remodeling for this barn housing animals. Barn number 2 on the southern side of the property. You can see right here, this is the addition that's proposed to be removed right here. If you follow my cursor, it splits the property line. This is proposed to be removed from the southern barn number 2. This is a shot from Birmingham Highway facing the single family home on 15055 Birmingham Highway. And more pasture land photos, just directly, slightly more west from the house itself. And here is a shot showing the eastern side pasture land. On February 4th, the DRB had the following comments. DRB recommends approval of the variance request. The board acknowledged that the property is heavily screened along the exterior property lines. The board also acknowledged that all the variance requests are internal and not affecting any exterior property lines. It was also acknowledged that an equestrian-like property meets the intent of the city's vision. Recommended conditions from staff. If approved, staff recommends the following conditions. Per the variance site plan from Beckler Greenfield Surveying LLC received on January 10th, 2025 by the Community Development Department. A minor plat substantially similar to the variance site plan showing the proposed lot line changes from Beckler Greenfield Surveying LLC received on January 10th, 2025 by the Community Development Department shall be approved by the Community Department and recorded with Fulton County prior to issuance of any community development approved building permits. Any questions for staff?
Michael, this falls under a minor plat. Is that correct? Not a major
Correct.
plat?
Because it's 3 lots.
Okay. Anything 3 or less is minor. Is that right?
Correct. There is a large lot exception where if you have a minor plat of 3 acres or more, there's no minimum you can do. So essentially, you could have 18 acres, be carved into 3-acre parcels. You would technically still be a minor plat. It's our large lot incentive to encourage.
As long as you're over 3 acres per lot.
Correct.
Any additional questions for Michael? Michael, one quick question before I call the applicant up. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor or in opposition?
Any public comments?
We have none.
I do want to make one comment.
Sure.
I received a call from the White Columns HOA this afternoon, and they told me they do not wish to make a recommendation on this variance request and are neutral.
Thank you. We'll have a combined 10 minutes for the applicant to make an opening presentation, a public comment from anyone wishing to speak in favor, and a closing statement from the applicant. There will also be 10 minutes for public comment in opposition. If the applicant would like to come forward at this time and present their application. Can you please state your name and address for the record as well, please?
How you doing today, board?
Doing well.
My name is Marlon Lang. Address is 15055 Birmingham Highway.
Want to Tell us a little bit about your application, your request. And Michael, can you put the site plan back up? Thanks.
Just to give you a brief synopsis of what I'm aware of, I purchased this property about 4 years ago for my daughter. She's an equestrian horse rider, and her dream was always to have a horse farm. We purchased multiple horses, and we found it very challenging to be paying board instead of finding a way to get our own property. So when the property became available, it was kind of a great thing for my child to have in her backyard, have her own riding arena where she can go down and just, live her life as she dreams. As she goes to horse shows, she competes in Ocala and triumphs. So we travel doing this for her. So in the perfect world, this was a great scenario. So we purchased this property thinking that we had a good 10-acre property and we would be able to do as you wish on our property. In hindsight, we didn't know until getting 2 years later that after White Columns, if you know the history of White Columns, they had to split their HOAs. So now they're the gated side and the ungated side. So as they became the gated side, that's where the parcel sits in the middle of the gated side of the White Columns. It came to the realization that this was part of the HOA. 20 years, no one knew this at all. I called the guy who I bought it from. He was not aware, never had an assessment, never had an HOA fee. When I closed, my closing attorneys never told me anything. Nothing ever came back from the survey. Nothing ever came back from the, nothing at all, no knowledge, no welcome letter, no anything said that I was part of an HOA. So now I'm just pretty much trying to do damage repair to find a way to get my property, in the right standing so I can operate properly. So if you look at the site map, the way where the house sits is one, the other property is kind of like an L shape, which kind of makes no sense for that road frontage to be a part of an HOA. And I kind of feel like someone dropped the ball because in hindsight, it seems like the house structure should be part of the HOA instead of that other structure. So it seems it was, it's been going on for 20 years. No one knew. I guess I'm really trying to do damage repair now and fix it so I can, move the way I would like. I've been approached by multiple builders to try to buy this lot. I mean, astronomical numbers, because it would be considered the last lots in White Columns. I'm doing my best for my daughter's dream. My wife is from England. She loves to ride. That's how our daughter got into it. To preserve this equine, community, just that's why I moved out here, to preserve this lifestyle, because I love waking up in the morning and seeing my horses in the field and see people ride by and stop. And, I take joy in that. So it makes me feel good. But if I can't function on my own property where I would like, it kind of handicaps me. Like, put yourself in a situation like you're buying 10 acres for someone else to tell you what you can do. It's kind of disheartening, only trying to do the right thing here, So it's just like, I'm trying to find a way to make this work. And going through all this, Michael has kind of helped me find a way to, construct, maybe change the lot lines and I could divvy it up the proper way. So in the perfect world, if nothing else, I can always have a house on the back, which I choose to, if that's my choice, or I could keep the horse farm, whatever. But the way it sits now, it's just, it kind of handicaps to the point where if I ever want to sell in the future, who will buy a horse farm mandated by an HOA? It just doesn't make sense. It'd be more of a headache for me and them for me to have to call every time I want to paint a board or a horse knocks a fence down. So I'm just trying to constructively find a way to make this work, preserve this community. And this variance here with the small little, how I would tear down that barn, I'm willing to sacrifice that portion of the barn so the variance will work. You know, just to try to make this thing make sense, and so I can just preserve the quality of the neighborhood.
And so just to recap, your plan is to maintain this as equestrian.
Yes, because we have the horse facilities. My daughter has 3 ponies out there. We do boarding as well. We have a riding arena in the backyard, so she can go out there. She can ride, she can jump. So I have no plan to change anything. You know, I just hope White Collars will find a way to constructively work with me as well. But on the same token, I can't be handicapped, you know, at this point in my life by anyone for my purchase that no one knew about for 20 years that we just found out about 3 months ago. So I'm just trying to be a good neighbor and make it work, preserve the community, and you know, and keep rolling, and make everybody happy. That's my goal here.
Any questions for the applicant?
Well, yeah, I do. I know you're getting rid of the one lot line. I mean, so you're going to end up with 3 lots, and the barns are on a lot outside where the residence is. My question is, did you think about removing that lot line between the barn and the house and making 2 lots out of it as opposed to 3?
Well, I've been told 3 lots, had to stay 3 lots. That's what I was told. Was that correct, Michael?
You could do less than 3.
Well, I would kind of want to keep it 3 and 3. I mean, that's kind of how I would like to keep it, because the back portion, I would like, so if you look where the red line is at, the line is being dissolved, pretty much that's like 1.8 acres of all pastures. So I would like to keep that for pasturing for the horses. So that's why I want to keep the back with the barn. So that way I could do my daily turnout so my horse could have a natural feed during the daytime.
Okay.
Any additional questions for the applicant? We don't have anyone else that wants to speak in favor or in opposition. You got about 6 or 7 minutes left. If you want to make any closing remarks at this time, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, like I said, I just here to want to preserve the community, and I hope I can get this thing passed. You know, it's really been a blindsiding experience to me, you know, and I'm doing my best to try to get it all done the right way. Coming down here multiple meetings with Michael, he's been very helpful with, you know, through the process. You know, like I said, my goal here is just to, I don't want to leave my kids go to Birmingham Falls Elementary School. I teach baseball and softball for the kids, all the coaches, and you know, I live right down the street from the school. So my goal is not to leave anywhere. I just, you know, I think I need to clean up what's been done that may have been overlooked in the past. And now that I have it, I just want a chance to clean it up, make it right, so I can move forward.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you guys. Good.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
I'll make a motion on V 25-01-15055 Birmingham Highway, consisting of the 3 parcels that Michael mentioned in his presentation. And there's a 4-part variance to this with 2 conditions. The first condition is per the variance site plan from Bachelor Greenfield Surveying LLC received on January 10th, 2025 by the Community Development Department. The second condition is a minor plat substantially similar to the variance site plan shown in the proposed lot line changes from Bachelor Greenfield Surveying LLC received on January 10th, 2025 by the Community Development Department and shall be approved by the Community Development Department and recorded with Fulton County prior to issuance of any Community Development Department approved permits.
Second.
Got a motion from Hodge and a second from Zach. In looking at this application and the 4 conditions, there's certainly hardship associated with this for not knowing that it was in the HOA for 20 plus years. The applicant is committed to keeping this large tract of land, which I think is 8.82 acres, basically as equestrian for the most part. And I just really believe that it hits all 4 of our conditions pretty clearly.
It cleans up the lot lines as well. The 1L, I think that's better for everybody in the future as well. Yeah.
I agree.
Got a motion by Hodge and a second by Zach on V 25-01-1055 Birmingham Highway, which consists of 3 parcels and 4 parts of the variance with two conditions. I'll read those conditions and then we'll take a vote. The two conditions are the first one being per the variance site plan from Bachelor Greenfield Surveying LLC received on January 10th, 2025 by the Community Development Department. And then the second condition is a minor plat substantially similar to the variance site plan showing the proposed lot line changes from Bachelor Greenfield Surveying LLC received on January 10th, 2025 by the Community Development Department shall be approved by the Community Development Department and recorded with Fulton County prior to issuance of any Community Development Department approved permits. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. The second variance this evening is V 25-02-13165 Freemanville Road, and this is a three-part variance. Michael, will you please present?
The applicant is Brett Samuels, and the address is 13165 Freemanville Road. The site is a 4.3 acre parcel located on the east side of Freemanville Road and is located in the Bryan Ridge subdivision as shown in Exhibit A. As you see, the original plat was from 1979. Property is zoned R2 and is located in the rural Milton overlay district. Applicable setbacks for lot are a 60-foot front, two 15-foot side setbacks and a 40-foot rear setback. And you can see the R2 zoning engulfed with the AG1 zoning, and this is Bethany Road. And here's Freemanville. The applicant is seeking the following variances: to reduce the 15-foot minimum side yard to 7.1 feet adjacent to the south property line for an existing shed accessory structure, to allow an existing shed accessory structure and existing pergola accessory structure to remain in front of the existing single-family home, to allow an existing walking trail and fire pit to remain inside the 75-foot impervious setback. Here's the aerial map. The shed is here, pergola here, and then the impervious encroachments are in the back, and the buffers come from the pond in the rear of the property. Here's the site plan. The lot has a depth of 875 feet and a width of 409 feet as shown in the variant site plan in Exhibit A. Here's a zoom in of the site plan showing the shed encroaching the side setback at 7.1 feet and the existing pergola in front of the front plane of the house. And then we have the walkway and fire pit encroachments inside the 75-foot impervious setback. The applicant submitted a detached garage building permit to Community Development on October 21st, 2024, which revealed the non-compliant accessory structures. The applicant purchased the property in 2020, and per the applicant's letter of appeal, the shed and pergola were built by the previous owner and were believed to have been built in the 1980s with the original home. The impervious encroachments from the walkway and fire pit were also believed to be built during this time frame. Here's the adjacent support map showing support from 13195 and 13125 Freemanville Road. Here are the support letters. Photos of the property. This is a view to the west across Freemanville Road. And I had a shot facing inward from the street. If you follow the green arrow, this is where the shed is. You cannot see it from the street. It is hidden from the view of Freemanville Road. Here's a view to the east showing the pond where the buffers come from. View to the south, which is a side yard setback, and view to the north, which is a side yard. Here is the shed in the front yard. Painted red with a stained seam metal. Give the appearance of a little barn. And here's a pergola. On February 4th, the DRB had the following comments. DRB recommends approval of the variance request. The board acknowledged the structures are not visible from the street, and the applicant has neighbor support from the most impacting bordering property owners. If approved, staff recommends the following condition. per the variance exhibit from DGM Land Planning Consultants Incorporated, received on January 16th, 2025 by the Community Development Department. Any questions for staff?
Any questions? Michael, before I call the applicant up, is there anyone wishing to speak in favor or in opposition?
There is not.
Thanks. The applicant would like to come forward at this time. We'll have 10 minutes of combined, we'll have combined 10 minutes for the applicant to make an opening presentation, public comment for anyone wishing to speak in favor, and a closing statement from the applicant. There'll also be 10 minutes for public comment and opposition. I'd like to state your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about your application.
Absolutely. Good evening. My name is Brett Samuels, and I'm the property owner of 13165 Freemanville Road. My wife and I purchased the property in January of 2020. We've lived in the area for a number of years. We were here back in the late 80s, early 90s, moved to North Carolina, lived there for a number of years, and moved back in 2015. And about the end of 2019, we were looking around. Our children are a little older, and we're looking for some place a little quieter where we could reside. And my wife found the property actually on Zillow, and we just absolutely fell in love with it. The size was perfect. The location was ideal. So in 2020, when we bought it, we remodeled the home. As Michael said, the structures, and he's done a great job, so thank you very much. The structures that are in question were literally on the property, to our knowledge, since the inception of the house was built back in, I think, 1980. When we purchased the property, everything was kind of dilapidated. So again, our vision is to have this be our forever home. We love Milton. We love the area. And so we immediately started getting to work. We have been revitalizing the property. We've uncovered the trails that you saw. They call them the walking trails around. We didn't even know they existed when we got there. So got a leaf blower out and started cleaning up, and lo and behold, there's some amazing walking trails, the little fire pit. And the fire pit is far enough away from the lake. Literally this last Wednesday, we had torrential rains, and I've never seen the lake that high other than when we had the hurricane a few weeks ago, and the water did not come anywhere near the fire pit. So we're in good shape there. And we're always trying to do what's right for the community in our home. And so we're good about that. The pergola was there. We found out that it was actually in structurally pretty good shape. So we removed a lot of shrubbery around that was really covering it up. And we, as you can see, we pressure washed it, painted it, beautified that whole area. And then the same with the shed. The shed was structurally in good shape. It's on a really solid foundation. We keep our lawing equipment and things like that in it. And so we literally pressure washed the roof and painted the sides and beautified and made it look like a little barn, which is pretty cool. We found out that it was in conflict with some of the rules. And so we're hoping to get the variance to get that straightened out. And that's pretty much it. We want to stay here forever. And our real intent is to build a barn / garage to the north of our house, ultimately, if we can get this all straightened out.
So one of the things you mentioned, is it a garage that you're trying to build? And then that's how you discovered that there were some setback violations?
Yeah, so we
those
applied for
before
a
you can-
permit to go through with that whole process. And in the process of doing that, we found out that these issues were things that we needed to rectify first. So here to kind of get it resolved and put that behind us so we can build the barn or the garage.
And all those structures predated the city of Milton, as far as you know?
Yep.
Okay.
To our knowledge, I mean, we don't know for sure because there's been a few owners prior to the guy that we bought it from, but to our knowledge, these things were here, and it looked like it. These are, they look pretty old, but they were actually in structurally pretty good shape. Otherwise, we would have removed them, and they're functionally helpful. And you can see, but from the picture of the pergola, it ended up turning out real nice. Some of our friends actually say, "Hey, can we have our child's wedding or reception there now?" So it's kind of cool. But I don't know if we'll ever do that, but we love it and love the Milton area. So we're really, really fortunate.
Any other questions for Mr. Samuel? Good. You have some additional time. If you want to make a closing remark, you're certainly welcome to do that. It's not a requirement.
Okay. No, I think, again, just thank you for consideration. We love the area. We're very hopeful that you'll grant this variance, and we really want to get it moving on with the construction of our garage / barn, and again, just enjoy the area. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll close the, are there any questions for staff? I'll close the public portion of V 25-02-13165 Freemanville Road and open the floor for a motion in a second.
I'd like to make a motion. We approve V 25-02-13165 Freemanville Road with the conditions that were recommended by staff per the variance exhibited from DGM Land Planning Consultants Incorporated, received on January 16th, 2025 by the Community Development Department.
I'll second.
We've got a motion by Billy and a second from Lauren on V 25-02-13165 Freemanville Road. That's a three-part variance with one condition. Per the variance exhibit from DGM Land Planning Consultants, Inc., received on January 16th, 2025 by the Community Development Department. Billy, you made the motion. You want to make a few comments on it?
No, I just think the way that, when things are built prior to the homeowner, I just don't find it feasible for the new homeowner to have to come back and rectify something that was done in the past. So I think that's pretty much how I feel about it, really.
One thing I'll add to what Billy said is really as far as we know, the structures predate the cityhood of Milton. And I think that's what you were referring to, not necessarily the previous homeowner.
Yeah, predate it. Yeah.
But I feel it meets all four of the conditions that we have to consider as part of our bylaws.
Yes.
Seeing that there's no further discussion, I will call for a vote on V 25-02-13165 Freemanville Road. It's a three-part variance with one condition per the variance site plan from DGM Land Planning Consultants, Inc., received on January 16th, 2025 by the Community Development Department. Not sure if I mentioned this, but the motion was by Billy and Lauren had the second on that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you and continue to work with the city staff. Appreciate it. The third primary variance this evening is V 25-03-15060 Freemanville Road, and it's a request for a deferral.
That is correct. Yes, they would like to come back next month. They were unable to come to the DRB and BZA meeting, so they're pushing it 1 month request.
Okay. I'll make a motion to defer V 25-03-15060 Freemanville Road to the March 18th, 2025 meeting, and we'll seek a second.
Second.
Got a motion by Hodge, second by Zach on V 25-03-15060 Freemanville Road to defer until the March 18th, 2025 meeting. Seeing that there's no discussion, I'll call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. The fourth primary variance this evening is V 25-04-1235 Hopewell Crest. Michael, please present. It's a two-part variance.
The applicant is Praveen Muflala, and the address is 1235 Hopewell Crest. Site is a 1.135 acre parcel located in the southeast intersection of Hopewell Crest and Alicia Way. The property is located in Hopewell Plantation subdivision as shown in Exhibit A. Property zone AG1 is located in the rural Milton overlay district. Applicable setbacks for the lot are a 60-foot front, 225 sides, and a 50-foot rear. The applicant is seeking the following variances: to reduce the 50-foot minimum rear yard to 19.2 feet adjacent to the rear property line for an existing gazebo accessory structure, and to increase the 20% maximum lot coverage to 30.24% for proposed pool and pool decking for an AG1 zone property that fronts a public street. Here's the aerial map showing the property. And note the rear of the property borders the city of Alpharetta. The applicant purchased the property in September 2022. The pool permit was submitted to community development in July 2024. Pool construction began in early September 2024 prior to issuance and approval of the pool permit. The applicant stated in their letter of appeal, the contractor made a mistake and began construction thinking the pool permit was issued. On September 16th, 2024, a City of Milton building inspector noticed construction on a property when he was making an inspection in the Hopewell Plantation subdivision for a different property. No construction has taken place on the property since the applicant was notified on September 16th, 2024. The lot has a depth of 267 feet and width of 176 feet. The existing single-family home was built in 1991. The City of Milton began requiring maximum lot coverage or 20% lot coverage for properties on public streets in 2012. The applicant purchased the property again in September 2022. And you see from here, the existing lot coverage is 36.74%, as shown in Exhibit B in red. And red is what he's proposing to remove. And part of that is already removed because they began construction. But before, this is a good amount of pavers and then existing gravel. And there's some gravel up here as well. While the proposed lot coverage is 30.24%, which is a reduction of 6.23% and 3,210 square feet. Again, here's the existing impervious to be removed in red right here. And then the new pool and pool decking, and the rest will be grass, the backyard. The existing pond, gazebo, and fountain. The applicant is proposing a rain garden for stormwater mitigation. The cabana, follow my cursor right here, taking the rear setback variance, was constructed prior to Milton's cityhood.
Sorry, can you say that one more time again?
Yeah, the cabana right here,
Okay,
excuse me, gazebo
gazebo.
was constructed prior to Milton's cityhood.
And do you know when the house was built, or is that a question?
1991.
91,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes, and I actually looked at the aerial, and I'll let the homeowner speak to this, but the existing bird pond and fountain all were there when I looked at the aerial from the year 2000. So I suspect they were constructed around when the house was built in 1991.
Another question for you is, when the original application was submitted for the pool permit, was that by the contractor or by the owner?
Contractor,
Contractor.
yes.
Any other questions for Michael?
So
Sorry.
just to confirm, so they're at 36% coverage now, and this would take them down to 30 roughly,
Correct, a 6.5% reduction.
right? And so if they weren't to build the pool, then it would stay at 36.
Correct, and we wouldn't get water quality. And our city engineer will require whatever he's over 20%, he's got to capture that runoff towards a rain garden. So we're getting an increased stormwater mitigation as well.
That's what I was coming.
Here's a zoning map, if you mind if I continue, showing
Sorry.
support. So we have 1210, 1225 Hopewell Crest, 10 Alicia Way, the owner and in the city of Alpharetta, 520 Abernathy Oaks Way, and they have support from the Hopewell Plantation Homeowners Association. Here are the support letters. Here are the renderings. Showing the pool decking, the existing bird bath, gazebo, and fountain. Here's a view to the north across from Hopewell Crest. View to the south facing the city of Alpharetta. It's pretty heavily screened in the backyard. View to the west and east. And the existing fence or wall, if you want to call it stucco, is on this property, which I assume was built for the property in 1991. Creates a good amount of screening. Here is the pool construction site. As you can see, a good amount of the pavers have been removed already. Here's the gazebo. On February 4th, the DRB met and had the following comments. DRB recommends approval of the variance request. The board discussed the existing house was built in 1991 under Fulton County and predated the lot coverage requirements from the Milton in 2012. While the DRB acknowledged they were not happy the construction took place prior to issuance of the pool permit, the applicant is making a good faith effort to reduce the overall lot coverage on site. However, the DRB did inquire what the square footage and percentage would be if the existing fountain and bird pond were removed from the site, and that would reduce the total by 0.8%. If approved, staff recommends the following conditions per the variant site plan from Survey Systems Atlanta received on January 17th, 2025 by the Community Development Department. Water quality treatment to be provided for all new impervious services as determined by the city development engineer through the permitting process. And we have a new comment, as you see right here on the screen, after meeting with the community development director this morning. Just for clarification from the stance from DRB, after reviewing the site plan and renderings with the community development director, city staff recommends both the fountain and bird pond to remain as detailed on the variant site plan. Both the fountain and bird pond predate Milton cityhood. Any questions for staff?
No questions. Michael, before I call the applicant up, do we have anyone wishing to speak in favor or in opposition?
We do not.
We don't. Okay. The applicant would like to come forward at this time. Please state your name and address for the record. We'll have a combined 10 minutes for the applicant to make an opening presentation, public comment from anyone wishing to speak in favor, and a closing statement from the applicant. There'll also be 10 minutes for public comment in opposition. Michael, can you do me one favor?
Yeah.
Can you put the site plan up in case we need to reference that? Thanks.
My name is Praveen Mutyala. Address is 1235 Hopewell Crest. And I have two requests for variance. The first one is related to a gazebo, which is located about 19 feet from the rear property line. According to the city of Milton, it has 50 feet. And since, the request is to approve the variance because it was built before city of Milton was formed. And again, even if you want to consider removing the gazebo, it's a solid structure. There's a demolition required. And again, the value of the property would go down because that was one of the reasons why we purchased the property, of the look of the backyard. So I would request if you can consider the gazebo, given it's predated to the city of Milton. The second is related to the impervious surface area. Prior to we're in the process of building the pool. Before it was about 36%, like Michael mentioned. We made all efforts to kind of try to reduce the impervious area to 30%. And again, the second thing is if you try to remove the pools or the pond, the Koya pond, it still only reduces 0.8. Again, the cost to remove the pond is going to be very expensive for us. And again, that's one of the reasons. It's a beauty to the backyard, the pond. Again, we have live fish there, Koya pond. So I would definitely request you to consider not having to remove the Koya pond from the backyard. Again, we have tried all options in terms of what else can be removed. Driveway, break the driveway, replace with something else. But they said that also is not going to help. So we have done all our best to reduce the impervious area.
Any additional questions for the applicant at all? One thing that I do want to point out is that if we approve the site plan, it'll basically be limited to the lot coverage area as a percentage, basically, and exactly what's on the site plan, unless one of the board members amends the site plan in any way. So just make sure that your contractor completely understands so you're not going over those limitations that we set.
Absolutely. I'll do all the due diligence required to make sure it's in compliance.
If you'd like, you can make, I don't have any more questions.
I don't
unless
have any
anyone-
questions.
If you'd like to make a closing statement, you can certainly do that. You've got about 9 minutes left. It's not a requirement, but if you'd like, you can certainly make a closing statement.
Yes, definitely. I think we should, we should have done a good work in terms of making sure the contractor had all the permits to start with. Again, he did show us this Department of Public Health permit saying that we need to move the septic. So we believed by what he said, and kind of, again, that was, we're going to be careful going forward. And again, we had made all effort to make sure to reduce the impervious area, and the best is what we have with the new site plan. Thank you. Thanks for considering.
Thanks. If you'd like, you can have a seat. Any additional questions for staff? I'll close the public portion of V 25-041235 Hopewell Crest. This is a two-part variance. And I will make a motion to approve with two conditions per the variance site plan from Survey Systems Atlanta received on January 17th, 2025 by the Community Development Department. And then the second condition is the water quality treatment to be provided for all new impervious services as determined by the city development engineer through the permitting process.
Second.
Got a motion by Hodge and a second by Zach on V 25-041235 Hopewell Crest. In consideration for approving this variance, we are reducing the lot coverage from roughly 36 down to 30. So it's 10% higher than what the ordinance states, but we're making improvements from that perspective. I think demolishing some of the existing structures that predate the city doesn't really make sense as long as they're maintaining them and keeping them operable.
Yep.
I think I can go along with that, and I feel it hits all four of our criteria. Any other discussion? I'll call for a vote on V 25-041235 Hopewell Crest. It's a two-part variance, motion by Hodge, second by Zach, with two conditions. Per the variance site plan from Survey Systems Atlanta received on January 17, 2025 by the Community Development Department. And then the second condition is the water quality treatment to be provided for all new impervious surfaces as determined by the city development engineer through the permitting process. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The motion passes unanimously. Please continue to work with the city and their staff. Thank you. The fifth primary variance this evening is V 25-053196 Bailey Forest Drive and 3236 Bailey Forest Drive. This is a two-part variance. Michael, will you please present?
The applicant is Chase Wojcik, and the addresses are 3196 and 3236 Valley Forest Drive. The variance request includes two parcels located on the north and northwest side of Valley Forest Drive in the Manor subdivision shown in Exhibit A. The two parcels include 3196 and 3236 Valley Forest Drive. So this parcel right here, which is 3196, is 1.1 acres, and the second parcel is 2.4 acres. If you combine, it'll be 3.48 acres. The applicant submitted a minor plat application on January 19th, 2025, and is currently going through the process to combine these two parcels into one parcel. Here's a zoning map showing the AG1 zoning designation and Forsyth County to the east. And here's the Valley Forest Drive, and that curves around here as well. The applicant is seeking the following variances. 3.14D UDC to reduce the 50-foot minimum rear yard to 38.8 feet adjacent to the north property line for an existing playground accessory structure. Section 842E2A UDC to reduce the 50-foot minimum rear yard to 2.4 feet adjacent to the north property line for existing private recreation basketball court. Here's the aerial map, and you can see right here, there is the basketball court here, and here is the playground. The combined lot has a depth of 359 feet and width of 366 feet as shown in the variance site plan Exhibit E. The owner purchased 3196 Valley Forest Drive in 2024 and 3236 Valley Forest Drive in 2018. The single-family home, basketball and playground are located on 3236 Valley Forest Drive. No structures are located on 3196 Valley Forest Drive, which is, again, the parcel to the west right here. If you follow my cursor. It's just open land. There are no structures on it. The basketball court was built between 2016 and 2017 from view in Fulton County aerial GIS. The playground was built between 2019 and 2020 from view in Fulton County GIS. The basketball court was constructed by the previous owner. However, the playground was constructed by the current owner without first receiving a community development approved building permit. You can see right here, here is the basketball court in red. Playground. Here's the 50-foot rear setback that they are encroaching. The applicant submitted a pool permit on October 15th, 2024, which revealed a non-compliant playground structure and basketball court. The proposed landscape plan is shown in Exhibit C. A letter of support from the Manor HOA is shown in Exhibit D. Here's the email exchange from the Manor HOA. Here are the site photos, view to the east, Valley Forest Drive. View to the west, which is essentially 3196 Valley Forest Drive, the parcel that's just land, has a large vegetation towards the rear property line. View to the south, the other frontage on Valley Forest Drive across the street. And view to the north, where the basketball court and playground are. The basketball court photos. And the homeowner to the north has a good amount of evergreens that offer some vegetation. And here is the edge of the cul-de-sac, where it's really the only visible area of the court. And the applicant is proposing the 7 arborvitae trees. Here are the playground photos. On February 4th, the DRB had the following comments. DRB recommends approval of the variance request. The board acknowledges that both the playground and basketball court are mostly hidden from the road outside of the end of the cul-de-sac where there's visibility. Originally, the applicant proposed 5 arborvitae trees in front of the basketball court facing the cul-de-sac just in a straight line. However, the DRB recommended a revised landscape plan, which included the increase to 7 arborvitae trees planted 8 to 10 feet in height and staggered for max screening. The applicant submitted the revised landscape plan on Wednesday, February 5th. The DRB recommended that the applicant neighbor support from the homeowner to the north property owner prior to the BZA meeting. Show the landscape plan again. Originally, he just had 5 in a row, and the DRB recommended a staggered planting plan to increase from 5 to 7 and 8 to 10 feet in height. And I'll let the applicant speak to the additional letter of support recommended for the northern property owner. If approved, staff recommends the following conditions. Per the variance site plan from Gaddy Surveying and Design Incorporated, received on January 21st, 2025 by the Community Development Department, a minor plat substantially similar to the variance site plan showing the proposed lot line changes from Gaddy Survey and Design Incorporated, received on January 21st, 2025 by the Community Development Department, shall be approved by the Community Development Department and recorded with Fulton County prior to the issuance of any community development and approved building permits. The playground accessory structure and private recreational basketball court shall receive community development approved permits. And lastly, per the landscape plan received on February 5th, 2025 by the Community Development Department as approved by the city arborist. Any questions for staff?
Nice presentation, Michael.
Thank you.
We don't have a whole lot of questions.
All right.
Actually, I do have one question, Michael. Do we have anyone wishing to speak in favor or in opposition?
We do not.
Okay. If the applicant would like to come forward at this time and present their application, We'll have a combined 10 minutes for the applicant to make an opening presentation, public comment from anyone wishing to speak in favor, a closing statement from the applicant. There will also be 10 minutes for public comment in opposition. If you'd state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Chase Buchek. I am the permit coordinator at Neptune Pools. And as Michael said during his great presentation, really saves me from having to speak too much on it. So basically, we were going through the permitting process, and it came up through the zoning review that the properties weren't in fact combined yet, and that there was two existing structures on the property that built in setbacks that made it non-compliant. So we took over from the homeowner the process of applying for this variance, and got in touch with our surveyors, making sure everything on variance site plan was correct, and then just basically working with Michael to make sure everything was as best, or try to keep everything where it is the best we can, and provide screening, as the DRB said, to block off any view from the street as much as we can. There's a hill to the left side if you're looking from the street that prevents us from planting anything up that hill, but there are trees on top of that might have some screening, as well as there's like a berm on the other side of the basketball court that prevents us from planting any trees over there. So we did our best to hide it the best we can. And if you could pull up when it comes to the variance letters of support, after the DRB asked the homeowner if he had any personal relationships with any of the neighbors to speak to them directly. He did not. When we heard this, we got a letter together that outlined everything that we're going through, that we're trying to build a pool, and that the existing structures on the property, and provided a screen part of the site plan that showed exactly how far they were off, and delivered it to all the neighbors. Checked, it's green. So I don't know if you can see it too well, but basically everyone on the street that looks towards the property. The homeowner, in fact, owns one of the houses across the street, directly across the street from the basketball court, not the top to the north, but over there to the east. He does own that property too. But we didn't hear back from anyone, unfortunately, hoping to get some letters of support, but they do have all the information and all the examples of where everything is on the property and exactly what we're trying to get. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
And you've got I believe you showed a support letter from the homeowners association as well.
Yes, we do have a letter of support from the homeowners association.
What is that next to it? I mean, I see another basketball court and it's like a football field.
Football field.
Yeah, the homeowner to the north does have a football field, field house, and a basketball court right there too.
Yeah. Okay.
The sports complex.
Yeah. Yeah. So the two things kind of go together, right? Yeah.
Any additional questions for the applicant? If you'd like to make any closing statements at this time, you're welcome to do so.
No, I think I should mention the playset the homeowner did construct, but at the time did not know that playset would need a building permit to put up. I don't think I said that before, so I just want to let you guys know that too.
Michael, question for you. Is a building permit needed for the accessory structure?
It is.
For the playground? Sorry.
It is, yep.
It will. So that would be, if it's approved this evening, the variance request, then they would go through the permitting process with the city. Is that right?
Correct, for both the
Okay.
playground and the basketball court.
And that's just something that will happen automatically? Or do we need to add that as a condition, Paul? I don't know if you want to
Oh, no,
check
no,
that.
we have it as condition number 3.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Any additional questions for the applicant? Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.
Oh, no, thank you.
Any questions for the attorney or staff? We'll close the okay. I'll close the public portion of V 25-053196 Bailey Forest Drive and 3236 Bailey Forest Drive. It's a 2-part variance. I will make a motion to approve with 4 conditions. The first condition is per the variance site plan from Gaddy Surveying and Design, Inc., received on January 21st, 2025 by the Community Development Department. The second condition is a minor plat substantially substantially similar to the variance site plan showing the proposed lot line changes from Gaddy Surveying and Design, Inc., received January 21st, 2025 by the Community Development Department, recorded in Fulton County prior to the issuance of the Community Development Department approved permits. The third condition is the playground accessory structure and private recreational basketball court shall receive Community Development Department approved permits. And then the fourth condition is per the site plan received on February 5th, 2025 by the Community Development Department is approved by the city arborist.
I'll second.
A motion by Hodge and a second by Billy. One of the things that I'll say about this is we're actually increasing the lot size. We're combining the two lots, which I think is good.
Yes.
They did reach out to the adjacent property owners, sent them the information. Didn't get a response back from them, but at least an effort was made to reach out. I think if there was a concern for the adjacent property owners, they would have either raised it with the applicant or they would have raised it with the homeowner association, and the homeowners association also signed off on it. So again, I feel like it meets all four of our criteria.
I agree.
Ready for a vote?
Ready.
All right. All those in favor of, well, actually, let me read this one more time again, sorry. V2505 3196 Bailey Forest Drive, 3236 and 3236 Bailey Forest Drive, two-part variance with the four conditions. Per the variance site plan from Gaddy Surveying and Design, Inc., received on January 21st, 2025 by the Community Development Department. Second condition, a minor plat substantially similar to the variance site plan showing the proposed lot line changes from Gaddy Surveying and Design, Inc., received on January 21st, 2025 by the Community Development Department shall be approved by the Community Development Department and recorded with Fulton County prior to issuance of any Community Development Department approved permits. Third condition is the playground accessory structure in private recreational basketball court shall receive Community Development Department approved permits. And finally, the fourth condition is per the landscape plan received on February 5th, 2025 by the Community Development Department is approved by the city arborist. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Please continue to work with the city and their staff as you move forward. Michael, I think we're on the home stretch here. I just got to find my page. Item 7, consideration of appeals and secondary variances.
None?
Item 8, old business.
None?
Item 9, new business. And if you can touch on one other point that's not on here, just give us an idea of what we have coming up for March outside of the one that was deferred, one case.
3 total cases for.
3 total.
Yes.
And that includes the one that's being deferred.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we had 2. Yes. Give me 1 moment. All right, so I want to bring your attention that in 2025, along with our, our goals of going more paperless, we're also going electronic voting. And if any of you attended a council meeting since the new year, they had this new system where you'll vote actually at the monitor, yes, no, or abstain. So, and we're going to second motions, things of that nature. There will be a training, I believe, early spring, but once I have those dates, I'll reach out to y'all and let you know when that is. But exciting new feature that.
2 things. One, can you let us know, do you think we'll do the training just before our regular meeting, just so we don't have to come back out for a second?
No, I hear
Training or
that.
anything like
I'll
that?
ask the city clerk and see if we can do that.
Okay, and then just give us an idea if it's 30 minutes or how much time it will be before, so we can plan accordingly.
100%. Yeah. So when we figure out when the training is going to be, I'll reach out to everyone. But no, that's an exciting new initiative for 2025.
Out of curiosity, how is the vote going to appear? Is it on the screen or is there going to be a separate monitor?
There's going to be a separate monitor. Yeah. And then Rima will drive that. So she'll know more about it than me.
Going high tech.
Yeah. It'll be a separate monitor.
Any Anything else?
That's
Is that
it. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. We got a motion from Billy to adjourn and a second from Lauren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.